Yay, watering cans. Hi paint lovers, how's it going? Well, I haven't been out at all this year until the other day, and then I decided I've got to get outside, the sun's shining, let's paint. And the last time I took my sketchbook out, I painted a watering can, which you can see on the right hand side of this piece that I'm working there, just off screen at a moment. And so you can spend a long time going out and about trying to find subject matter, looking for that perfect spot to paint. Well, I didn't want to do that. I literally stepped outside the back door and there were these two watering cans, and I thought, that's it, I'm going to paint that. And it's our job as an artist to make something out of ordinary objects. I've always kind of liked watering cans, the sort of thing your dad used to sort of have. It was an important thing your dad had when you were a little kid, and I've always quite liked them. I've got several watering cans. The last one I painted, which you can just see on the top right there, that's worn out, it leaks, it doesn't hold water, but I like it, I just keep it in the garden. And these other two, one of the green one was my dad's and the metal one was my father-in-law's. So they've all got a bit of history, these cans. And I particularly like that metal one, a long spout with this arching over rows. And I wanted to capture the essence of the watering cans, kind of almost dueling with each other for position, but in a way I didn't even plan the composition, it was just ready-made. I just wanted it to have certain abstract qualities and keep the key fairly high, but the sun kept going in and I had to memorize these shadows, because by the time I'd started the painting the sun had already faded quite a bit, so I had to get these shadows in. It kept going in and out, and towards the end of the painting it was gone completely, because my wife and I stopped and had lunch in our summer house and did the crossword, which is something else we've been trying to do in the lockdown, is learn how to do cryptic crosswords. And so we wasted quite a lot of time doing that, or had fun actually. And yeah, it was great. But when I came out, the sun had completely gone over the house and I had to finish the study from memory. But it doesn't matter, these sketchbook, plein air sketchbook pieces that I do are completely free of any worry. It doesn't matter if they don't work. Quite often they do work, but it doesn't really matter if they don't. It's liberating. They're acrylics in a small A5 Hanimal sketchbook. Sometimes I'll prime the paper with acrylic, other times I'll just leave it like this. It was so bright, the sun working on the white paper, the after images were burning into the retina. It's just harsh light, and then it would go dull. And I didn't have an umbrella or anything, I just literally stepped out the door, set up, and away we go. And now I'm all fired up to do more painting outside, but it's been pouring for a couple of days. But it gives me a chance to put the video together, which is a good thing really, because otherwise I'd just be trying to make more and be out there painting. And well, anyway, you can see what I'm doing, and I'm enjoying painting watering cans. I laid this one in with a watercolour pencil, a grey one, and that kind of dissolves and disappears. It's quite nice to draw with though, because it's nice and soft. And then just getting in some of the various tones and looking for the warms and cools, gradually building it up, blocking it in, looking for the form. Really, it's kind of describing that form. That's what interests me about these sculptural things like watering cans. I'm not necessarily trying to render everything really accurately, I'm just interested in the shapes and forms and the way that the light falls across them. And any time of that day when the sun was falling on it, the light was interesting. So you can see my setup there, my little sketching easel with the sketchbook just clamped on. The board's got a special bracket on the back that just clamps into the easel's quick release. There's a little table you just hook on, which opens up like a book, and that you can put your wet palette inside. It just fits perfectly. I've got a similar one for oils so that I don't have to clean the palette at the end of the day if I'm out and about. and all in all it's very useful. It's a kit you can set up really quickly, and that's essential when you want to do studying outside. You don't want to be faffing around setting up something that's really complicated. I made a big French easel once and spent a long time making that, but it's such a faff to set it up. It's such a big cumbersome object. It's great to work on once it's set up, but this is so much more immediate, so much more portable. And when you've got cameras and tripods, as you can see I've got another tripod there, and there's another view of the cans, by the way. Enjoying those shadows, and there's some nice flowers in the garden coming out. But having all that kit, you want to be quick because you've got to consider the angle of the camera, you've got to consider where the light's falling, how your own shadow or hand will block out the camera or block out your own view of the page. So there are all these things to consider when you're working outside, and that's working plein air. But that's what I love about it. You've got the bird song in the background. Always an ever-present beautiful thing is birds, bees, insects, except when the insects are hassling you, of course. But all those kind of things really add up to making an enjoyable time. Completely different from working in the studio. You need a lot of stamina. You have to keep your concentration going, but occasionally you should stand back and enjoy things and take your eye off the ball for a little while, just so that you can come back to it with a fresh eye. That kind of thing really helps you to see things again when you've maybe gone a bit stale or got a bit too concentrating on one particular aspect, and you might be losing the bigger picture, which is essential with painting, especially a la Plein outdoors. You need to try and keep your eye on the ball, on the whole scene, and how to control and pull and push certain moments of the painting, how to emphasize the center of focus, how to look for those warms and cools. It can seem overwhelming, but once you get into it, you just really get carried away and get lost in the moments of painting. And it's kind of organic doing a piece like this, because as the light changes you have to rely on memory up to a certain point, the memory of the first impression and how the shadows are and how they relate to each other. But then when you start looking inside the cans and see how the light is now affecting the water that's in there in a way it wasn't when you first started, you might add that in, so it records more than one moment that a photograph might record. You can pick and choose and cherry pick on what you want to record or what you don't. As long as it all makes sense in the end, you can play to your heart's content. And I love playing with paint and testing. It doesn't have to be highly finished. So now you can see that the sun has gone completely. This is just putting a few finishing touches on from memory and working into the shadow without worrying about the sun anymore. There's nothing I can do about it. It's gone, and I didn't really want to continue it the next day. It's a one-hit wonder. So I hope you enjoyed the video, folks. Please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll be doing some more outdoors soon. So take care, everybody.